My name is Faye, and I handle administrative tasks at a medical office at a university. I married Stephen thinking it would be the start of a new chapter. Little did I know, our marriage would be much shorter than I expected. At first, Stephen seemed like a kind, family-oriented, and decisive person. He worked as a manager at a home improvement store, and when he proposed, I saw him as a solid, reliable partner. I accepted, feeling confident about our future. After we tied the knot, Stephen, who had been living with his parents, moved into our apartment. Despite our busy schedules, we managed to sync our days off and started planning our honeymoon. I was genuinely excited about our future together. But soon, things started to change. Our apartment was just 2 years old and had 3 bedrooms. It wasn't luxurious, but it was affordable and comfortable. I took the leap and bought it, thinking it was the right choice for us. One day, Stephen mentioned that his mother and sister were planning to visit the next day. I felt a bit frustrated because he hadn't cleared it with me first. Though Stephen was off work, I had my professional obligations. His decisiveness often meant that my feelings got overlooked. When I raised my concern about being at work, Stephen casually said, "No worries, we'll just look around and that'll be it." I agreed, thinking it would be a quick visit, but when I came home the next evening, I was met with a lively scene. The aroma of food filled the air, and in the living room, Stephen, his mother, and his sister were all happily preparing a meal. Confused, I asked, "What's going on?" My slightly tipsy mother-in-law greeted me cheerfully. "Faye, you're home, finished with work? You've been busy." My sister-in-law, Grandon, added, "Wow, this house is incredible. It's not fair that you get to live here." Stephen joined in the conversation, and I realized I was the only one who didn't know what was happening. Trying to keep things calm, I asked, "I thought you were just coming for a house tour. Did you plan on having dinner too?" This wasn't what Stephen had told me, and I was growing more frustrated. Smiling, Stephen shrugged and said, "Well, my mom and sister said they had plenty of time, so we figured, why not have dinner?" It seemed like he was prioritizing their time over mine. While I didn't mind them visiting, I didn't want to feel uncomfortable in my own home. Stephen explained, "My dad's gone, and it's just the 2 of them. They need a change of scenery every now and then." His mother, in a carefree tone, added, "Stephen is such a great guy, Faye, you're lucky to have married him." I wanted to point out that I work too, but I stayed silent. I tried to let it go. They had cooked the meal, after all, and I decided it wouldn't hurt to let them have a family dinner. But then my mother-in-law said something that shocked me. "This fridge is full of good meat, high-quality stuff. It's really delicious," she said, as if to imply they were helping themselves to our groceries. The snacks and alcohol they were enjoying were the ones we had bought. When I questioned her, she nonchalantly replied, "You have all this in the fridge, so why go to the store? It's such a hassle." She didn't seem to care at all. To top it off, she added, "I'm tired now, so if you want something to eat, Faye, you'll have to make it yourself." I was fuming inside but tried to keep my cool. With a forced smile, I said, "Is that so? Well, I'll take care of my meal then," and retreated to my room. As I closed the door, I heard them talking behind me. "Is she always this rough? Is she okay?" my sister-in-law asked. "Even though she's in such a nice house, I wonder if she'll end up breaking something," she added. Stephen, without missing a beat, said, "I'll talk to her later, she's probably just tired from work." Afterward, they left without cleaning up, and to make matters worse, Stephen came to my room and lightly scolded me. "What's with all the frustration? It's not fair to criticize my family." Honestly, I couldn't take it anymore. They had done everything without asking, and then left without cleaning up. When I told Stephen how upset I was, he tried to calm me down. "Relax, it's a one-time thing, I'll handle the cleaning, just take it easy." Although he tried to reassure me, I wasn't convinced. I decided not to argue, but tried to convince myself it was just part of Stephen's family love. I forced myself to think about our upcoming honeymoon, hoping things would improve. But our honeymoon didn't go as planned. A month later, we went to Alaska for a 3-night trip. I had no issue with staying within the country, though I would have preferred something more extravagant. The hotel was decent, and we enjoyed the food, hot springs, and northern lights. It was a lovely trip overall. As we neared the end of our vacation, we discussed making future plans, but just as we were about to return home, I had a nagging thought. I couldn't remember if I had locked the bathroom window. Living on the 4th floor, it seemed secure, but I couldn't shake the feeling. I brought it up to Stephen, and his response was, "Don't worry, my mom and sister are there." I was confused, since I hadn't been told about this arrangement. Stephen explained, "Oh, didn't I mention? They said they'd clean up while we were gone. It's really helpful, they know how quickly dust builds up." I was stunned. He had given my mother-in-law a spare key without telling me. My frustration grew, and I barely spoke to Stephen as we hurried home, anxious about what awaited us. When we got back, they were throwing another party. The table was covered with food that looked like it had come from our fridge. My mother-in-law casually said, "Oh, you're back, did you have a good time?" I couldn't even respond properly. Despite her claim that she was cleaning, the apartment was messier than when we left, and there were even more bags from my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. That was it. I had reached my breaking point. Enough was enough. Unable to hold back my frustration any longer, I blurted out, "What is going on? This is our house, and it's a problem when you just do whatever you want without asking." My mother-in-law shot back, "What's the issue, really? This is Stephen's house too, so why is it a problem if we, his family, do as we please?" My sister-in-law arrogantly added, "Exactly, Faye, we should have as much right to be here as you do." I couldn't wrap my head around their logic and snapped, "I'm paying for this house too, it's not just Stephen's, so you need to ask for my permission before doing things here." At that moment, I realized I couldn't keep quiet any longer. I had to say something, or they'd keep walking all over me. And then Stephen's response hit me like a ton of bricks. "Faye, stop, you can't talk to my family like that. We're all going to live here now, so don't be so selfish." His words left me speechless. The idea of living with his family without even being consulted was a blow. I shot back, "Why are you making decisions like this without telling me? Don't talk to me about selfishness. Are you kidding?" The lightheartedness from our honeymoon quickly evaporated, and the atmosphere turned tense. As usual, Stephen tried to defuse the situation with, "Calm enough, if you hate living here so much, you can leave." Instead of calming me down, his words made me realize that I couldn't stay with him and his family anymore. I didn't need to argue further, I just needed out. With a smirk, I said, "Fine, I'll be gone soon enough." Though my mother-in-law and sister-in-law didn't fully understand my response, they would find out in time. I quickly packed my things and left. Stephen tried calling, but I ignored him. I had no plans to return. I stayed with my parents for a while, filed for divorce, and started searching for a new place to live. After a couple of months, I'd settled into my new home, but when I realized I still had some belongings at the old place, I answered Stephen's call. I could tell he was panicking as he pleaded, "Faye, what's going on? Come back now." Stephen probably thought I was going to return, but I was done. I responded firmly, "No, I'm not coming back. I've already filed for divorce and spoken to a lawyer. We need to talk about dividing the property." He was stunned, caught off guard. "Divorce? What? No, not that, I can't handle this." I wasn't surprised by his frantic plea. It wasn't long before he confessed, "I'm broke, I'm in debt, come back quickly." I already knew he was in financial trouble, but hearing him admit it confirmed it. He thought I'd return because he couldn't handle things on his own, but I wasn't buying it. Stephen didn't make much, maybe $2,000 a month. The mortgage for the condo was $2,000, and while I chipped in $1,500, he only contributed $500. The rest, like utilities and groceries, was all me. Even our honeymoon had to be on the cheaper side because of his financial situation. It wasn't that he had expensive tastes, it was that he couldn't afford anything. Once I left, it was clear he couldn't manage. The condo was in his name, but without my contribution, he was struggling, and with his jobless mother and sister living with him, things were about to get worse. My mother was furious about the whole situation. "Why did you kick Faye out? You need to fix this right now," she scolded him. It became evident that Stephen's mother and sister had no clue about his financial reality. They thought he was well off just because he was a store manager, but the truth was far from it. They'd assumed Stephen was the main financial contributor, which made me feel embarrassed for them. Things got worse when I learned his mother had blown through her late husband's money and moved into my house. She and her daughter had even ended their lease. It was moments like this that made me ashamed to be connected to them, and I couldn't wait to get my divorce finalized. When I expressed my desire to proceed with the divorce, Stephen didn't resist. "I'll just fill out the papers and send them back," he said. The divorce went through smoothly, and I returned to my old place to gather my belongings. After shipping my things, Stephen, standing with his mother and sister, thanked me, saying, "You really saved me, Faye. I'm already $110,000 in debt. And if things keep going like this, it'll go up by another $5,000 this month." I was shocked at how quickly he'd racked up that much debt. Apparently, his mother and sister's reckless spending habits had drained everything I had contributed. I couldn't help but suggest, "Why don't your mother and sister get jobs? If 3 people work, it might help." Stephen and his mother were stunned by my response. He asked, "Aren't you going to help us out too?" I replied coolly, "What do you mean by help? Why should I pay for your living expenses? Earn your own way." I didn't say I'd help, I said I'd think about it. I left them standing there, confused and helpless, before getting into my car and driving away. Eventually, Stephen's mother and sister reluctantly started looking for work, but their laziness kept them from getting very far. Meanwhile, the debts kept piling up, and their spending habits didn't change. Stephen's financial situation was dire. As for me, I finally had the freedom to use my money for myself. I indulged in hobbies, traveled, and felt more fulfilled than ever. One day, a doctor at work approached me and said, "You look great these days, Faye." That comment sparked a new chapter in my life, as we started dating, further enriching my day-to-day experiences. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay stunned.